Nowadays, very often there are reports from various sources of information that certain teams of archaeologists stumble upon a burial of very large human remains that are shocking in their size. These findings confuse scientists, lead to disagreements and confrontations of opinions on this matter. But the more you try to find explanations for these questions, the clearer it becomes that the theory of evolution is simply collapsing before your eyes. And each time it raises great doubts and causes a huge number of questions. Let's consider two opinions on places from the Bible about giants. The first mention in the Bible of giants, which explains these findings and thus confirms the veracity of the appearance of the human race, is given in the first book of Genesis. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and bare children to them. These are the mighty men of old, men of renown. That is, before the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, there were already giants, but after these incidents there were more of them. What does this mean, and how was it from the beginning? One opinion suggests that after the fall of Adam and Eve, they had children, Abel and Cain. According to the further history of this family, it becomes known that Cain rebels against his brother and kills him. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. After which, Cain was driven out, and he settled in another land. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. Some time after the murder, Eve gives birth to another son, whom she named Seth. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, and called his name Seth. For she said, God hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And Seth also had a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. If we read the whole 4th chapter of the book of Genesis, it becomes clear that two races, generations, were formed on the earth, the sons of God. This is the generation of Seth, who honored God and the human race. The generation of Cain, who lived in sin and acted according to the deeds of the flesh. In the line of Cain, there were descendants with genetic changes, who later became giants. And after the line of Seth and the line of Cain, after a time, began to mix. By means of the fact that they began to take wives from the line of Cain, there were frequent cases of the birth of giants. Another opinion is the appearance on earth of fallen angels, sons of God, who were seduced by the beauty of earthly women, and taking the form of people, entered them, and subsequently gave birth to giants, or as they were also called, rephaim. This is also written in the apocryphal book of Enoch, which the apostles of Jesus Christ referred to in their speeches. After which people were filled with evil deeds, received knowledge of magic, became addicted to cannibalism and other abominations. So God decided to destroy the earth with a great flood. The next mention is given during the time of Moses, when they fled from Egypt with the people of Israel, and after completing their wanderings in the desert, decided to seize the land of Canaan. Scouts were sent to those lands to learn more about that place. And after returning, the people who participated in the reconnaissance spread rumors. And they that went up with him said, We are not able to go up against this people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report among the children of Israel concerning the land which they had spied out, saying, The land through which we went through to spy it out is a land that devoureth the inhabitants thereof, and all the people which we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, of the giant race. And we were as grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so were we in their eyes. At that time, everyone was afraid of the sons of Anak, who were a terror to those around them and to all the peoples. The Emims dwelt there formerly, a people great, numerous, and tall, like the sons of Anak. And they were counted among the rephaim, like the sons of Anak. But the Moabites call them Emims. They are also mentioned in the book of Joshua. At that time Joshua came and struck down the Anakim in the mountain, in Hebron, in Debir, in Anab, in all the mountain of Israel. Joshua utterly destroyed them with their cities. Not one Anakim remained in the land of the sons of Israel, except those in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod. The people of God were constantly at war at that time against the rephaims, who wanted to mix the entire human race with their blood and not leave a man created in the image of God. Then Ishvi, one of the descendants of the rephaim, whose spear weighed 300 shekels of copper and who was girded with a new sword, wanted to strike David. 300 shekels is about 25 kilograms. That is, it is difficult to imagine the size and strength of this man, who in addition to the spear also carried a sword and some kind of armor. There was also a Philistine single-handed fighter, Goliath, who fell at the hands of David, whose armor alone weighed 430 kilograms. And in the first book of Chronicles, it is clearly written about the confrontation between two generations of people with different beginnings, people and half-people, monsters. After this, war broke out with the Philistines in Gezerah. Then Sabbakai the Hushathite struck down Sheba, one of the descendants of the Rephaim, and they were subdued. And again there was war with the Philistines. Then Elhanan the son of Jair struck down Lami, the brother of Goliath the Gittite, whose spear shaft was like a weaver's beam. There was another battle in Gath. There was a tall man there who had 6 fingers, 24 in all, and he too was of the descendants of the Rephaim. He defied Israel, but Jonathan the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, struck him down. These were the children of the Rephaim in Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. The word rephaim is translated as tyrants, giants, corpses. The descendants of the Anakims were precisely the descendants of the Rephaim. They were not all people, since in the past their fathers were not of the human race. From here came the beliefs in various gods and demigods that were in Rome, Greece, and other nations, and they were only fallen angels and children of these angels. In the Bible, the phrase descendants of the Rephaim is translated as descendants of the dead. It is said about them that they will not rise again. They will remain dead because they are not full-fledged people as God created man. In the book of the prophet Isaiah, it is said, "The dead will not live, the Rephaim will not rise, because you visited and destroyed them and destroyed all memory of them."